G2's problem isn't Stumpen's girlfriend, it's not signing Shaiiko, and it's not Doki and Alamal disappearing in the playoffs. It's a lot deeper than that. After watching every single G2 game on the first EML stage, I finally understand why this team failed to qualify for the Esports World Cup 2026. And honestly, I don't think the answer is gonna be what most people expect. G2's first problem was their map pool. Out of the 9 matches and the 9 maps G2 played during the group stage, 4 of them were Fortress and 2 were Consulate. That is 6 out of 9 games played on 2 maps. And I'm not saying that they were only good on those maps, but when one team keeps finding success on the same map over and over again, every opponent notices. By the time playoffs came around, nobody wanted to give G2 Esports Fortress, and that's where the cracks started to show. During the playoffs, G2 had to play much deeper into the map pool. They lost on maps they barely played during the group stage, and suddenly they didn't look like the same team anymore. And that's a huge problem, because eventually it's gonna be best of 3s, and if you make a really deep run into any international tournament, underground finals, you're gonna have to play a best of 5, and that forces you to step out of your comfort zone and play on the maps you absolutely hate. Because at the end of the day, it's not just going to be Consulate and Fortress. And this is probably going to be the most controversial part of this video. G2's coach. I really want to be polite here. I don't really want to insult anybody. I'm trying hard to put my thoughts into words in the best possible way, but I think that Romalio is one of the most overrated coaches in Siege history. For the most part, Romalio has spent his career on FaZe Clan and G2 Esports. The only thing he did for FaZe Clan was winning one major, the Sweden major in 2021, some deep finishes, some deep runs in some tournaments, a second finish in the 6 Barely Major 2022 where they eventually lost to Rogue in the grand final. Considering that he has one of the best rosters available in the world, those results aren't really convincing. He even was the coach for the prime FaZe Clan roster, the roster that won back-to-back 6 invitationals. Clearly that happened when Romaldo had just left the team and they had Rafadel. Just as he left, FaZe Clan started to become gods in the SI, second finish in 2024, first in 2025 and 2026 with Rafadel. And in 2023, G2 Esports win the 6 invitational with Fabian as the coach. Later, Fabian leaves the team. G2 signs Romalio. He was literally handed the 6th Invitational 2023 World Champion roster, and what he did was becoming Team Falcon's #1 rivals and occasionally winning an EML Stage. No deep runs, no success whatsoever for G2 Esports. And okay, some people may bring the Esports World Cup 2025 up, but honestly, the Esports World Cup 2025 second finish was all Stumpen, dude. He was crazy. He was the best player in the world in that tournament. But, you know, a second finish, good. What else? Nothing, bro. The thing with Romalio is that he has always coached teams with insane amount of firepower, and he did mediocre at best. And the next few problems that I gathered from watching G2 play are all kind of connected together, so I just can't really separate them. I'm talking about role distribution, communication, adaptation, and individual mistakes. I've gathered all the problems in just 2 games. Their first matchup versus Fnatic in the group stage, and their matchup versus Fnatic again but in the playoffs. Here's the round 5 of their group stage match versus Fnatic. First of all, why is everybody on the wrong operator? The only player that's on the role that he's supposed to play is Benja. He's on Snake. He did a very good job playing Snake. I don't think anybody on the roster could have played that operator better than Benja. We have Stumpen on Sledge, Shaiiko on Lion with the diffuser. Who have we signed? Reday? Oh my god. They have Shaiiko committing to the plant. I've never been this mad ever before. Alamal on Striker and Doki on Deimos. Okay. You know, Doki on Deimos kind of makes sense, but when you have Shaiiko, Shaiiko has to be the one playing Deimos every single time. If you really want to stick with these 5 operators for the round, I think it should have been something like Doki on Lion instead of Shaiiko. Alamau has to play the slowest and the worst operator, which is the Sledge, and Stumpen has to be on the Striker and put Shaiiko on Deimos. Let me skip a little forward. You know, the thought process here for G2 Esports is that Alamau and Stumpen are going to take the top floor control, the vertical control. Shaiiko is going to get in the Bob side, the Lion scan is going to go off and he's going to plant, and they're going to play the post-plant situation. And here they actually have the 4 versus 5 man advantage. It's not a bad idea. Okay, let me just not skip forward that much. Alamau dies on the repel because he's too greedy to kill Deadshot here. And Grandpa Deepak on Alamau here on the repel. The Stumpen gets a kill from the repel. They don't yet have the top floor control here. Just Stumpen's just on repel, about to die at any second. And Shaiiko is going for the plant while Stumpen is in a 1 versus 1 gunfight with Deepak. They do not have the top floor control yet. Citizen runs out on Stumpen, kills him. Shaiiko and whole G2 roster knows that there is nobody watching above and there are holes above. Deepak has the vertical advantage. He's about to stop this plant and kill Shaiiko at any time. Shaiiko dies. Zero control for top floor. I don't really know who to blame here. But eventually, it's a 2 versus 1. Citizen is alive. Benja and Doki on G2 with a minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. Doki goes for the plant and Benja's covering. He still has a grenade. Doki has a grenade too. All Benja has to do is to make sure Citizen doesn't throw that nitro. Let's see how he does it. He freely enters the room, tosses the C4.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Benja kills Doki. 1v1 gunfight. Both players managed to miss so many bullets. Citizen wins the round at literally 1 HP. Wrong role distribution and operator distribution. They mess up what they're supposed to do. Shaiiko, the best fragger in the history of Rainbow Six Siege, is told to plant the diffuser while everybody fails to cover him and get Shaiiko killed. They don't get the diffuser down. Benja team kills Doki and Citizen clashes up a 2 versus 1. How many mistakes was that? That's the worst round I have ever seen from any esports organization in the history of gaming. G2 have learned from their mistakes. They're not probably going to repeat the same mistake twice, right? They run the exact same 5 operators on the exact same 5 players against. Doki went nuclear here and got a 3K out of nowhere. They won this round magically. And let's go to the playoffs. It's the 7th round on Chalet. G2 had already won the first map 8-6, a very difficult first map, but either way they won it. Okay, what G2 decided here is that they realized that the plant is basically free at the window. No vertical pressure, no one at the bomb site, and they make the right call and commit to the plant. But what bothers me is the post-plant play. Oh my god. All you gotta do here is hide. Look at you got Capital, you got grenades, you got flashbangs, you got smoke grenades, you got everything you need. Shaiiko is watching above, the right call. Okay, you don't want them to have access to the hatch. Shaiiko misses every single bullet. Oh my god. Still winnable. Still winnable. Someone uses one of his fires and here Doki. Oh my god, what the heck are you doing, bro? There's 25 seconds left. Minus 7 seconds because, past 7 seconds you basically can't defuse. It's, let me do the math. 5 seconds. It's 18 seconds left before you win the round. And you are watching tight angles like this.
All 10 players standing. G2
he gets shot by Wizard. Stompen still has 1 fire left in the chamber. Just shoot it at the diffuser and you're gonna waste so much time before you know it. If you just shoot the fire at the window on the diffuser, first of all, they're not gonna be able to defuse. And second, they won't even be able to get close to the window to jump out and kill you. Which I believe is what happened to him. Benja misses. And that's not a run out, but that's close. Stompen didn't use his fire. Where is Alamau? Gets stuck in the Dunnery trap. Can't get close. Random wallbang and they defuse. Oh my god. It was a 4-2. They had the lead. They still have the lead after this round. 3 more rounds won and they would have had their spot in the EWC 2026. But what happens? Next second you blink, they only win 1 more round past that time and it's match point for Fnatic. Someone at the window loses the gunfight somehow to Citizen. Alamau has to know Citizen is somewhere close.
Beautiful removal of one. Shaiiko finishes the other. It's in a 3 versus 2.
Oh my god. Individual 1v1 gunfights and done. On to the last map of the series. It's a 1-1. The winner of this round, this map, goes to the major, the Esports World Cup 2026. Doki gets the opening kill, I believe. Onto Citizen, one of their most important players. And then Benja on that shot. It's a 5 versus 3 about 40 seconds into the round. There's no way they mess it up, right? Benja here has unlimited information on the clash. About to do the play of his life. Only hits 1 bullet. My goat Alamau has Stompen on Blitz. The way Stompen moves around the edges, just look. The way Stompen moves around the edges with Blitz screams that he's insecure, inconfident, and incapable of playing a shield operator well enough. And I really do not blame Stompen for this. He shouldn't be on Blitz. Doki loses a gunfight onto Clash. Smith gets a double kill. 3 versus 3, okay. Winnable. Deepak kills Shaiiko. 2 versus 3. Someone just puts the shield on his back and kills the Smith. Alamo has to cover. Stumpen is a 2 versus 2. He's committing the plant. He's watching the window frame. Deepak kills him. They don't know where someone is planting. No, he gets the kill onto Wizard and ends up losing his life to Deepak. 5-6, G2 is 1 round away from making EWC. Deadshot has the top floor control. He's opening up vertical holes. Not too much pressure yet, but what Shaiiko decides to do next is not the wrong call. It's the right thing to do, is to try to go get that top floor control back. And for the second time ever, I see Shaiiko whiffing. How often does that happen? Shaiiko. No, it's just a free kill! Kill him! Oh my god, no way. That's not what I want to see from Shaiiko. There are billions of players that expect this kind of aim out of him, but not Shaiiko. There are 3 people at the bakery door, and Stumpen's on smoke. He's used all these canisters. You know, there's no utility left in him. He's at like 75-ish HP, and what he decides to do? Why are you picking 3 players at the bakery? It's a 6-6 round. Stumpen on Blitz again for some reason. I don't know why. The thought process here is literally the same. They're doing the exact same attack that they did on the first few rounds on Lost. Doki here shoots on Citizen, and Stumpen is free to kill Wizard. And again, the way Stumpen moves with Blitz just screams that I do not want to play a shield operator. And here is the point that Budega explained. If you see here, Wizard is playing the DMR. He's not playing the MPX. Just look what he does. Did you see the 180? He completely dodged the flash. Stumpen realized that and quickly unscoped just so he doesn't get headshotted. A little bit of back and forth. Knifes the shield, misses the shots again. I believe it's because of the DMR. Switches to the pistol. It's too late. You know, I guess they win this round though. Yeah, they win this round. And let's move on to the match point round here. It's the 7-7 round. They still have Stumpen on Blitz. They're doing the exact same push. Citizen against Henry on Shaiiko. And this is what Budega noticed. Wizard is playing the MPX this time. He's trying to dodge the Stumpen's flashes, do the 180 and headshot him. The Stumpen doesn't know how to play Blitz. 2 people die because the Stumpen can't shoot. Deadshot just freely walks in front of a Stumpen, gets the double kill. I don't really want to blame Stumpen for that. He's not a Blitz player. And here is the smart part. Just look how Wizard plays this. He's constantly doing 180s, trying to dodge Blitz's flashes. Look, you see, he's just looking. He does it. It's on Stumpen. That is crazy. Okay, in the 1v2, he loses. He still has calls left in the pocket. Doesn't use them. They're out of the major. And something else that bothers me is that Alamal's face. I really think that he doesn't give it. You know, it's just, I know it, but I just can't prove it. G2 Esports are the best team in the world if you're playing best of ones. They just do not lose the first map ever. They dominated the group stage because it was best of one. They won every single map, went undefeated in the entire group stage of the EML Stage 1. And even during the playoffs, versus Falcons, they win the first map, lose the second 2. Versus Fnatic, they win the first map, lose the second 2. Even versus Rebels on the 5th place decider match, the team that they had already 7-0'd during the group stage and 7-0'd again on their first map of the playoffs, they lose the second map of that series too. The team that you had already won 14 consecutive rounds against, you lose a map to them. That's just does not sound right to me, but they somehow managed to win the third map, so at least like 35 more side points for G2. Personally, I don't really think G2 needs to change anything here except for the way they play, by the way. I don't think G2 need to do any roster changes. I actually think this roster has already shown enough to prove it can become one of the best teams in the world. They finished first in the group stage, they dominated the group stage, they've already qualified for a major before, meaning they had already won the previous EML stage, the kickoffs. They made kind of a deep run in the Salt Lake City major before they were stopped by Ambi. The potential is obviously there. While every other team is busy preparing for the EWC 2026, G2 has the rare opportunity to sit down, fix these problems, expand their map pool, and finally figure out what this team's identity is supposed to be. And if G2 is even considering making a change right now, it should happen right now. They just cannot afford to waste another EML stage to adapt to a new player or a new coach. First of all, none of the 5 players need to leave the roster. If you want to change anybody on the team or bring somebody else, it has to be a new coach. Romalio's time might be up.